Now, you may struggle with doubt, but if you stay with me real quick, I'll show you how to walk over it instead of sinking in it. Okay, so boom. We all know the story about Peter, right? In Matthew 14, where they were on the boat with his disciples, a strong wind came up, and then Jesus was walking on water, and they were terrified because they thought it was a ghost. But Jesus says, take courage, do not be afraid. And now here's where things get interesting. Peter takes a bold step and he makes a decision. It's an intentional decision, right? Catch it, because I told you the other day that every time we have set intentions, disruption follows. So boom, Peter steps out the boat, walks on water, and while he's looking at Jesus, he's fine. But as soon as he takes his eyes off Jesus, he starts sinking. And it's in this moment that all of these feelings starts creeping in, right? The doubt creeps in. The fear takes over. He begins to sink. But yet in that moment, he still cries out to the Lord to save him. And we all know what Jesus says to him. Why did you doubt? So what does this teach us about doubt? What does this teach us about faith? So, number one, it teaches us that doubt starts when we shift our focus from off of God to on our circumstances. When Peter starts looking at the wind, the rising water, and all of those things around him, which is our circumstances, he starts sinking. The same thing happens to us when we focus on the problems instead of the promises. Number two, Jesus doesn't let us drown in our doubts. Even as Peter was sinking, Jesus still stretched out a hand to save him, which is a beautiful segment because it says, even in our weaknesses, God is still there. Number three, faith requires movement. So while you're sitting there thinking and hoping and praying and waiting for a sign for God to show you to go ahead and start this thing, or for it to suddenly land in your lap, just know that faith of a thing, when you're building something, it requires movement. It requires action. So Peter may have doubted, but at least he stepped out of the boat. Some of us stay stuck inside the boat because we're waiting on the perfect conditions to go ahead and start the thing that God has already told us, I'm waiting on you to do. And here's the key to this. Faith means moving towards the thing before you actually see the outcome. So here's my question for today. What is the boat that you're afraid to step out of? And if you're in the middle of doubt, I challenge you to shift your perspective to Jesus. And just remind yourself that he's called you out of this, so he's not going to let you drown. And just remember, your faith is going to require some type of action. So silence your doubt by moving forward in faith. And if you're tired of doubt holding you back, check out the link in my bio for the Breakthrough Blueprint. So click the link in the bio for the Breakthrough Blueprint or DM me Walk in Faith. Don't let doubt keep you stuck. It's time that you step out of the boat and walk in purpose. I'll see you in the next video.